walk through this open door. I've always been a seeker, felt I was alone. Now in this room full of smiling faces, I know I found my home. This is where joy lives, this is where love is. This is a place where I am strong. This is where eyes meet, where kindred hearts beat. I am right where I belong. Whoops, here we go. Here in this place I'm accepted. I'm welcome just as I am. I'm ready to be inspired, to reach out a helping hand. This is a new beginning. I trust in the mystery. Now that my heart is open, there's no place I'd rather be. This is where joy lives. This is where love is. This is a place where I am strong. This is where eyes meet, where kindred hearts beat. I am right where I belong. This is where joy lives. This is where love is. This is a place where I am strong. This is where eyes meet, where kindred hearts beat. I am right where I belong. I am right where I belong. I am right where I belong.
Woo! Thank you so much, Brett and Patty. Yes, beautiful way to start our service. And welcome, everybody, to Unity of Hagerstown. There we go. Happy New Year. And welcome those joining us virtually. We're so glad that you are here with us, part of this community. We begin, as we always do, with an opening prayer. Let's go ahead and take a moment, centering ourselves, bringing our focus to our heart space, relaxing the body, letting go of any worries, becoming fully present here and now. And we give thanks for this community, thanks for that feeling of joy and love that is palpable here. We give thanks for this new year, a time to release any burdens, a time to move forward with renewed intent, to express spirit throughout our lives, to speak from the heart, and to serve with love. And so it is. Amen. And now if you will join me in our mission statement together. Unity of Hagerstown, a welcoming community, embraces spiritual awakening through affirmative prayer and meditation, creating a positive path for abundant living for all. And now we have the reading of the Daily Word with Arnie Krause. And as he makes his way up here, for those who may not be familiar, the Daily Word is an inspirational reading piece that you can get in your inbox, your email box, or as hard copy. Over to you.
All right, fresh start. What a way to start our new year. I begin this year with renewed enthusiasm and a fresh perspective. I feel vibrantly alive as I realize that all love, wisdom, energy, and strength of God are mine to express in my life right now. Grateful for the lessons of life experience, I release past disappointments with a forgiving heart. I find harmony in my relationships as I look beyond differences and focus on the divine life and the love that unite all people. I go about my work seeking to serve others with a humble heart, and I find ways to develop and evolve my skills and nurture my talents, allowing me to continue to grow and learn. This year, I will thrive in all areas of life as I feel God's presence everywhere I go and in everything I do. And the one who was seated on the throne said, "See, I am making all things new." Revelations 21 and 5. And let's all say this part and together. Centered in God, I create a fresh new life. Hold that in your hearts. Think about what we're going to do this new year. I know everybody likes to do those the resolutions, but New Year resolutions, but sometimes it's just focusing on yourself and making baby steps and doing one little thing at a time. And one more time. Centered in God, I create a fresh new life.
Thank you, Arnie. Okay. And now we have another song. Is this a stand-up song, Patty?
Of course. Now, I'll sing the first frame, and then you guys will join in on the chorus. How's that?
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient, and I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go, oh, let it go. And this is what you have to say: I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. I am it's open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No, no, no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Now breathe that in. Release it. Let it go, baby. It's a new year. Only here for God. Let's sing that again. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Woo! Yes. Please be seated. Yeah. Fantastic. So before we get started with the service here, I want to make sure that everybody has one of these, little piece of stationery, the envelope a little piece of tracing paper. What's that for, Sandy? And, and a writing implement, and something on which to write, which is, we're using the hymnals today, which is not sacrilegious, okay? It's a wonderful use of those books. Yeah. Okay, so if you need one, please raise your hand, and the greeter will help. Actually, the greeter's not in here. Someone will help get you one. Okay, if we could get a couple more, Helen, if we could get a couple. And for those of you who may be joining us at home, you can do this with your own paper. It doesn't have to be anything special, just a sheet of copy paper and a regular envelope and a little square. And you're going to need a candle, maybe, or if you have a fire pit outside. But this is the Burning Bowl Sunday, so you'll need access to a flame in a safe manner. Somehow. A candle in a sink will work, just not too close to a smoke detector. Okay, so while the beautiful volunteers are helping distribute things, I'm going to go ahead and move on. Before I do, I need to clear this off a little bit. And I wanted to let everybody know, if you're interested in A Course in Miracles, there are a bunch of these free Holy Encounters available underneath the coat rack in the foyer. Please take them. I've been getting this magazine for years. I love it, but after a while, there's only so much printed material I really want to keep. So there's Daily Words, there's Science of Mind, there's Miracle magazines. Please take them if you want them, or if you know somebody who might. Okay, that's end of the advertising portion of this, maybe, this service. So, yes, with the new year, we get an opportunity, as Arnie said, to take steps in creating the life that we want, the vision that we've been holding on to, maybe for years, that hasn't quite come about yet. We can allow Spirit to express more fully through us, as us, and we can deepen our understanding of God as our source, nothing outside of there, but God within, who is infinite, inexhaustible, and is ready to give in accordance to our ability to receive. So our vision is our awareness of our naturally abundant self, and our inner guidance leads us to the steps we need to take for that fulfillment of the vision. It's under divine direction if we allow it to be. The vision you can think of as a map of where we want to go. And then we set the coordinates in our GPS by setting the intention. Okay, that's another whole lesson, and that's not today's lesson, but I think I may circle back to that one at some point. So in order to bring this new vision into our lives, we do need to release that which may be cluttering up our current life to make room for the new. I'm sure you have heard that the universe abhors a vacuum. In other words, it rushes in to fill the empty spaces. Our elder brother Jesus put it this way: you can't put new wine in old wine skins. In other words, we need to shift the consciousness if we want to bring about a new vision in our lives. So as this vision for our life expands, and I believe it probably is continually inviting us to expand our vision, we let go of that which is no longer helpful, that which keeps us playing small, that which keeps us in a limited thought, or even leaving our hearts hardened. We let go of all of that so that we can truly be that expression of Spirit in the life. And we do this in different ways. We make room for the new on a physical level, cleaning out closets, cupboards, whatever. We make room on an emotional level by letting go of, oh, you may not like this. Letting go of resentments or control. We do it with that. Any old attitudes that are no longer serving us. And we let it go. We make room in a spiritual level. I think the primary way is through forgiveness. You know, sometimes we carry the past with us. maybe not intentionally, but we carry it around with us for years, perhaps. It's not past. We're carrying it with us because we revisit it every day. He did that. She said that. Or I could have done that. We carry the guilt, the shame, the blame, the resentment with us. This is an opportunity to start out anew by intentionally releasing it. And the burning bowl helps us with that as a ritual. So our beliefs can often become a habit. And by holding on to these beliefs, holding on to the things that no longer serve us, we are creating a dam, if you will, in the flow of spirit in our lives. David Owen Witt says the flow of spiritual energy through your life is like the flow of water down a mountain stream. In other words, a healthy stream, a stream that is moving quickly, can propel a boat. It can propel a hydroelectric plant. It can erode rocks that are in the way. A free and powerful flow can do a lot of work. If we were to dam up this stream or restrict its flow, it turns into a stagnant pond, and its power is lost because the flow is interrupted. We dam spirit's flow in our life when we hold on to that which no longer serves us, either material things or emotional, as I said. And we can release the physical things, as I mentioned, simply by cleaning out the closets. However, we know that the outer always reflects the inner. So unless we do that inner work as well, we'll just accumulate more stuff. So let's affirm together. I am willing to clean out my life and step into the flow. Now let's say it like you really mean it. Together, I am willing to clean out my life and step into the flow. That's right. That is what we need, is that sense of willingness. We have to consciously let go in order to create that space for our vision to come about. Letting go of control, which is scary. I understand that. We all want to be in control, I think, most of the time anyway. And it's scary when we let go. But we're letting go with our little self, if you will, allowing our higher self to come forth and to guide us. We can affirm divine direction as we listen within for those steps. It's not something outside of us. We're listening within for that wisdom that we have, for those steps that we need to take to accomplish our goals. When we do our inner work, when we clarify our intentions, guess what happens? Outer circumstances begin to move with us in that flow. Holding on to regrets, resentments from the past block our good. And for some, as I said, the power of the past is still with us. While the experiences may be long gone, the energy we're still carrying, the judgment, whatever it is. So that's why life sometimes repeats, or it seems to repeat, presenting us with familiar circumstances over and over, giving us opportunities to process those feelings once more and to heal so that we can move on. It's just another opportunity for us. Richard Rohr tells us, if you have forgiven yourself for being imperfect and failing, you can now do it for just about everybody else. If you have not done it for yourself, I'm afraid you will likely pass on your sadness, absurdity, judgment, and futility to others. He is not mincing any words here. So we must be willing to release the past, the guilt, the resentment that we carry in order to open more fully to the divine. When we forgive, we move that energy of that resentment out of the way, creating an opportunity for greater possibilities. Now let's just talk briefly about forgiveness. Forgiveness is unconditional. You can't forgive somebody a little bit. That's not forgiveness. Forgiveness is an expression of love. You can't forgive them and not love them. You can forgive them and not be around them, but to forgive, as unity teaches it, is to see them as they truly are, as an expression of spirit. Forgiveness comes, the word forgiveness from the Latin is pardonere. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, but it doesn't really matter because you probably don't know either. But it means to give completely without reservation. Without reservation. I loved that. Now, Roger Teal tells us forgiveness is one of the highest expressions of self-love. It is loving yourself enough to move out of that stuck place, to get out of that quicksand. It is taking all the energy devoted to fear and resentment and channeling it into something that is constructive, life-giving, and uplifting. Forgiveness is freeing yourself to get back to the higher agenda of your life, no longer tethered to the past. So the energy we need to release whatever it is that, and I hope you didn't come up with any preconceived ideas of what you need to release, because we want this to come from spirit within, not our heads. Our heads may have a whole big list. But spirit might say, oh, that's all covered under one thing. So we're going to allow our higher self to guide us. So the energy we need to do this work is in direct proportion to how we are willing to give up control and allow our higher self, our deeper wisdom, to move us forward. You know, I recently heard a meditation on a podcast that I really like. It was on forgiveness, and it was based on Carolyn Mace's work. And Carolyn Mace describes forgiveness as a dungeon in your soul in which every cell is filled with someone you have not forgiven. And the meditation, I know, isn't that, just think of a dank, dark dungeon. And so the meditation took you through the dungeon, opening cell doors and allowing that person to go free without any words on your part. You were just gesturing them out towards the door. And you go down the hall, opening doors left and right, till the very end of the hallway. The last cell huddled in a corner is yourself. So it was a very powerful meditation. If you're interested in doing that at some point, we can do that. But I just brought that in because it's such a strong image for me, and I hope for you too, on forgiveness. So the burning bowl ritual, which we're doing today, is symbolic of a way to cleanse our lives, to start again, to let go of the mistakes, to let go of the regrets, to move on past the old wounds, the unfulfilled expectations, the situations that are holding us back from really living our most abundant and juicy life. The fire in the burning bowl, of course, is symbolic of transformation. It transforms the paper on which we write what we're letting go into smoke, sending it up to spirit. So we take the fears, the limiting thoughts, and release that through that cleansing fire of spirit. So we're going to, let me go through the steps on this. It's not that complicated, but I don't want you to be confused, like what's next, So we're going to have a song by Brent and Patty that will lead us into to be centered. Then we'll have a guided meditation, and I will invite you to search your heart, to ask your heart, what is it that we need to let go of this year? And then you write it down on this small piece of paper, not the big one, the small piece of paper. And when you're ready, take it outside, and there are tongs to use to burn it. And while it's burning, I would invite you to see this as a sacred moment and just affirm, I release this, whatever it is, or I forgive you, or whatever makes sense to in your mind of what you're letting go. And then when you come back in, that's when you take the larger piece of paper and center yourself once more, because this doesn't work unless you're centered and writing from your heart. You are writing a letter to your future self. It is your higher self writing to your future self, saying what an amazing, awesome person you are. At least I hope that's what your letter says. And then you place it into the envelope and address the envelope to yourself. And I'll bring a basket, or actually you could put it in the offering. Yeah, I'll figure out something up here to put it in. And you just put it in the basket when you're through, and then sit back in your seat and stay centered so that you can hold space for those who are still writing. And by holding space, I mean recognizing that the presence of God is here, moving into that beautiful, loving heart of yours once more, having your focus there, and just affirming that, yes, God is here, moving through as everybody here. And then at some point, when most people are through with the letters and the burning, the release part, we'll come back to our regularly scheduled service. So let's go ahead and begin, shall we? We'll have Brett and Patty sing us a song.
Let the peaceful waters tumble down my soul. Let me live in this moment, watch it all unfold. Let this joyful feeling come from deep inside and lift my spirit closer to the light. Oh, I'm letting go. I'm letting go. I'm gonna roll with the tide, surrender to the highs and lows, into the pull of the moon and the ebb and flow. I am lost in the stillness of a silent prayer, just the movement of breath and a heartbeat there. Oh, I'm letting go. Oh, I'm letting go. I'm letting go. I'm letting go. Let the peaceful waters tumble down my soul. Let me live in this moment, watch it all unfold. Let this joyful feeling come from deep inside and lift my spirit closer to the light. Oh, 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 I'm letting go. Oh, oh, I'm letting go. Oh, I'm letting go. I'm letting go. I'm letting go. I'm letting go. I'm gonna roll with the tide, surrender to the highs and lows, to the pull of the moon and the ebb and flow. I am lost in the stillness of a silent prayer, just the movements of breath and a heartbeat there. Oh, I'm letting go. Oh, I'm letting go. I'm letting go. I'm letting go.
Let's adjust our position if needed, closing our eyes or softening our gaze in front of us. Let's take a nice deep breath, pausing at the top of the inhale and then releasing it slowly. And again, another deep breath, pause, and a slow release. And then one more. And as we relax our bodies, letting go of any stress, any tension, and as we relax our minds, not becoming engaged with the distractions, whether they're outside or they're thoughts coming by, staying focused and calm, letting our heart guide us here, that wisdom of love, that wisdom of our higher self. We ask that that which is still calling out to be healed in our lives, or the blocks that are in place to our understanding the deep, infinite love of God, be revealed. Perhaps we give ourselves the gift of forgiveness. But we lay down our burdens, whatever they may be. We let go. We let go of control, trying to control, and simply float into the mystery of being. As we continue to sit quietly, if your thoughts begin to wander, which they will do, gently bring them back to your heart space. Just asking, what do I need to release now? What do I need to release? Let it sit in that sweet silence. And be open and receptive to the answers that come. And as we continue to sit quietly or write our letter to ourselves, Brett and Patty are going to lead us in another centering song.
There is one love, there is one power, there is one life eternal. God lives through me. There is one love. There is one power. There is one life eternal. God lives through me. I am that love. I am that power. I am that life eternal. God lives through me. There is one love. There is one power. There is one life eternal. God lives through me. I am that love. I am that love. I am that power. I am that life eternal. God lives through me. God lives through me. God lives through me.
So if you're still working on your letter, I want to encourage you to finish that, and if you can do it during the service, that's fine. If not, take it home and do it. And this works really well for me. I hope it works for you. Just stick it in a desk drawer, and you won't find it till you're meant to. Yeah. So those who have completed the letters, they'll get mailed out to you, so make sure your address is on them at some time in the upcoming year. If you're a regular attendee here, then it doesn't necessarily have to have the address, because I saw yours didn't, yeah. And you're also invited, if you want to complete the letter after the service, that would be fine as well. Okay. Let's go ahead and affirm this together. I am free. I proclaim freedom now. Yes. And our offertory prayer together. We bless and dedicate the gifts received here today to the ever-growing awareness of God expressing throughout creation. As we leave our burdens behind, we joyously give out of the abundance of life, and we joyously receive. Thank you, God. Amen.
How about we stand on this one? Okay, there are people starting. Never mind.
God is my help in every need. God does my every hunger feed. God walks beside me, guides my way through every moment of the day. Wherever we are, God is. Wherever we go, God is. Let everybody know that God is, and all is well. Now I am wise, now I am true, patient, kind, and loving too. All things I do and be, through Christ the truth that lives in me. Wherever we are, God is. Wherever we go, God is. Let everybody know that God is, and all is well. Whenever we give, God is. Whenever we love, God is. There's always gonna be enough, 'cause God is, and all is well. God is my health, I can't be sick. God is my strength, unfailing, quick. God is my all, I know no fear, 'cause God in love and truth is here. Wherever we are, God is. Wherever we go, God is. Let everybody know that God is, and all is well. Whenever we give, God is. Whenever we love, God is. There's always gonna be enough, 'cause God is, and all is well. All is well. All is well. 'Cause God is.
Amen. Yes. Thank you, Brent and Patty, once more. So we do have a few announcements coming up. We've got quite a few coming up in January. This Wednesday at 7 p.m. is our New Year's sound bath. We're going to really take a look at the year 2022 and also what we might look at going forward during that bath, and 2 meditations times during that. And then next Sunday we have a white stone ritual, which is setting the intention for 2023. It's writing it in stone. The stones come from Jerusalem, and you can carry it with you all year long to keep you focused, or put it in a prominent place and just really use that as a tool. And then the Interfaith group of Washington County is doing, let me back up once. Also next Sunday is our appreciation luncheon. If you volunteered at all in 2022, if you're a consistent giver as well, we want to honor and celebrate you. So please let us know if you're coming. There is a sign-up sheet in the back. We want to just bless you as you have blessed this ministry. And then on the 12th of January, the Interfaith Group is doing a book discussion via Zoom on the Book of Joy with the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu. It's just their conversation over a period of a few days and their focus on how to bring joy, especially in troubling times. So if you're interested in that, you do need to register, and there are flyers in the back for that. And then on the 15th, January, we'll be leading us in a vision board. And because it's immediately after the service, we're going to include a lunch there, a very healthy lunch. And you get the supplies and the luncheon, and there is a cost to cover that, and that would be $15 a person. And then on the 20th, the Underground Swamis is a duo, and they're pretty awesome. If you haven't heard them, they're pretty awesome. They're really, I don't know, how would you describe their music? They're just cool. That's all I can say. And it is a spiritual song concert, so I'm really looking forward to this. And then on the 27th, I just gave you all of January, so you can just map out your calendar now. It's dinner and a movie. And if you want more information on that, there are flyers in the back for that as well. And now we're going to say goodbye to our Facebook friends, but I do need somebody to turn it off. Thank you guys. So we'll see you next week.